Hey guys, it's Grim. Today I want to talk to you about the surveillance station that could be installed on the Synology disk station. I'm using the surveillance station in order to receive the feeds of my camera on my house. But it did cost me a while to set it up because I ordered the cheap cameras out of China on AliExpress. And well, there was a lot of things that were going on with those cameras, but I couldn't get the right pictures going. So I just want to talk to you about surveillance stations today and how you can set it up. And then I will show you how I did it. So that could be worthwhile watching. If you like my video, please follow my channel, like the video, and check back regularly because there's all sorts of new videos coming out once in a while. Okay, so let's start. So first things first, we need to install the surveillance station on your Synology. So basically, I already installed it. You normally get an install button over here. So you have that over here. I don't have no station installed, so that's the install button. So you just click it. It will automatically install. Nothing much to it. So it's installed already, and I will open it up right now. So this is actually my surveillance station. This is what you see. So you don't see any icons on my screen. Could be on yours, but doesn't matter really. So I'm gonna check the main menu, and we have a lot of things going on here in the surveillance station. Now, before I start, I would like you to realize that on the free version of Surveillance Station that's coming on your Synology, you can only have 2 licenses for cameras. So that basically every third license you need, you have to buy it. You have to buy it at Synology, but the first 2 are for free. So I only use 2 at this point in time, so I don't have any additional licenses besides 2 that are coming standard with the package itself. Now, for all the other things that you see right here, the most important one at this point in time will be the IP camera, because that is where we actually set up the cameras themselves. Because without the cameras, we can't use all the other stuff. So I'm going back into the IP camera. Now it's loading. So you can see that I have 2 cameras on my front door actually. And you see that they occupy an amount of data on my disks because I record all the video that's coming from it. But the funny part, and you can see that even here with the IP address, there's 2 different ports as well. Sorry for that. But the funny part is that the first camera that I had was this one. It actually, that's the cheapest one that I bought for 19 euros on AliExpress. And if I click it, and I'm using the configuration button. Oh, sorry, the edit button. Hello. Here we go. Now it's loading up. And the fun part was that it's an Unviv camera. But I didn't know that because the camera comes with a manual. If you read the manual, then you don't understand anything that's in it because it doesn't make any sense, the whole manual. But just think that it was only 19 bucks. So, I mean, a very cheap camera, though it's still high definition screen. So, I mean, what could go wrong for 19 bucks, eh? Well, it took me about 3 days to find my settings out. So that was 3 days of frustration actually. And I finally found out that I had to use port 554 and I used the source pad. And that's actually quite interesting. Because if you don't use it, you don't find anything. The password itself and the username and the password themselves, that is the thing that you should install on the camera and make make yourself familiar with the camera interface, because you really need to change the password. So the username is quite standard, and on this particular kind of camera I can't change the username, but you can change the password. So change the password, because otherwise everybody will be able to log into the password to the camera remotely. So try to change your password accordingly. So I installed the first camera and I used the test connection button. Well, I see that it's connected and it's working, although I don't. Oh, here I see your screen. So it's working now. I will go into the configuration itself. So I will use the H.264 video format. I don't use any audio for that. I just want a high quality bandwidth and balanced stream. So I'll put them on stream 1. I can't actually choose anything more. And stream 1 just resolves into the same as camera setting. So that's basically the standard setting that you can give on the camera itself. If I go to advanced, then you see the RTSP and the RTP setting, transfer protocol. Well, I didn't touch this. I don't use it. I don't need to. So I'll just leave it standard as is. So going back into the information screen, I've put in the IP address, port number. So my camera is actually working. Then I'll go into the recording setting, because this is interesting for me, because I want to have a recording for the last X amount of time. So and that's where you can actually set what you're trying to do. So you can see here that it truncates the video every 30 minutes. It starts pre-recording and post-recording after 5 seconds, or 5 seconds before, 5 seconds after. And I want to limit the archive folder that it actually stores the video in to 20 gig. But this is per camera, so I use 20 gigs, and you can see that right here, and I said that just a couple of minutes ago. You can see the 20 gigs over here. That resolves to the 20 gigs over here. So if I make 40, then I'm using, for this camera, I'm using 40 gigs. Now, I didn't push any of the customization folder names or prefixes. I just wanted to have it located on one of my disks in my Synology. I didn't use the estimated required space, because that takes a while in order to calculate it. So when I went into profile, and this is where you can really adjust your camera settings or how much storage it will use. So you've got 4 kinds of recording settings. You've got continuous mode, which is balanced actually. So and fun thing is that you can, oh, hang on. So I put that on balance, so you can put it on low bandwidth if you have a low bandwidth connection. So you want, or balanced if you want like normal kind of quality, and you have a normal bandwidth, or you want to push your system to the limits and get really HD quality with the high settings. So I used continuous, the balance, for motion detection. I use the high quality, and the other 2 you can just really customize. So recording settings, I didn't use this one, so it's standard filled in. I don't care about that. The advanced continuous recording settings, and that is something that I use. So I use the advanced settings as well. So I want to do event detection, and we can see that in the first screen as well. You can see it down here. We can look at the event detection for camera. We'll come into that later on. But I use all detections. So all detections, it starts recording 5 seconds before the recording, during the recording, 5 seconds after the recording, and I want to have it on high quality because I really want to see what's going on in front of that. And the minimum duration of the recording is 10 seconds. So at 5 before and 5 after, so there will be 20. Nothing to worry about. that works fine for me. So my live view settings. So if I look at the application, or the Android or iPhone application that's called DSCam, you can just install that, and if you have the cameras configured in your Synology disk station, you can just connect to the DSCam application, and you can see those cameras right on your phone. So you really stream it from either the camera, because this is what the video source says. So the video source is either from the surveillance station, so it will be feed from your surveillance station to your phone, or you can give live streams from your camera. But think about the amount of bandwidth that you need if you stream it directly from the camera. Besides that, you probably need a quite good camera as well, because live feed from the camera will push your processor on your camera as well. So I'm using the surveillance station's feed for my live view settings and my mobile settings. I don't use any advanced live view settings. So these are the basic settings where I work with on this particular camera. So we already covered this, so we covered everything. So I will close down this screen. I won't save because I'm already set up. My other camera, and that's interesting, is a more advanced camera, and it did cost about 31 euros, but it has some more features as well. There is a standard application coming with it. You can download it. You can connect it to the camera, and you can actually do some configuration on the camera, including, like, for example, the username, the password, all the settings, network settings, time settings, recording settings. So, but that's different for every camera. It's not the same for every camera. But this is actually a totally different brand, the top one. And you can see that there is PTZ control, so that's actually movement control. I don't use it because my camera is not movable, but apparently they use the same chipset on other cameras as well, which are actually using that. So, but my other camera is using a different port. So if you take a look at the camera itself, there it goes. It's also an on-viv camera. Oh, look at that. Different camera detector. Would you like to load camera capability values again? Well, no, we're not going to change anything. It's working now, and it's working perfectly, so I'm not going to change anything. We did set up the camera with an IP address, and I have a port number, and that's actually, you can see that in the application that's coming with it. So I found out that this port number works for that on-viv camera. The camera model is a generic on-viv model, and basically this is it. We don't need a path like we did with the previous camera. We did insert a username. We did insert a password for that, and we're going to test. Okay, that did work. The connection was successful. So we don't see any screens over here yet, but it is there. So we look at the video, and you can see that it's nearly the same as we just seen with the other camera. I've just put different resolution in, but I also use the same video format, and I don't use audio, so it's nearly the same. Advanced settings, I don't use that. Recording settings are nearly the same as the other one. The live view settings is nearly the same as the other one. Optimization settings. I would like the camera itself to work together with a network time server, so that my on-screen time in the camera is actually synchronized every day, or every 5 days in my case. And I don't use any of the other features that are there. So with this, I'm able to fully make use of the surveillance station, and I can really recommend you to install the iPhone app or the Android app DSCam, which is belonging to Synology themselves. So it's a Synology app. You can log into the to the app with your normal credentials that you use to log into the Synology disk station, and you can actually see those two cameras right away, and you can live view them. You can see the recordings, so that it's very good. Before I close down for today, I just noticed that I forgot to tell you one thing, and that's the event detection. So with event detection, I can click on my camera and I use event detection. Give it a minute to load. And in that event detection, you can give the camera the instruction to use detection source. So I use the surveillance station. You can use the camera, so the camera detects any movement, or the surveillance station itself. I use surveillance station. You can set the sensitivity and the threshold. These are just default, so I didn't change them. And the interesting part is the edit detection area button. And if I click that, you can see that it's loading. Look at that. So you now see the camera itself with all those little small boxes into it. And you can, if you would like to remove any of the detection area because it's like public road or something, you can get it out. So I can see here that this is public road, and I'm not allowed to look onto a public or record a public road video. So I'm getting that one out, and I'll push save. And that would mean that only on my property there will be motion detection. So if anywhere within the blue area is something detected, the recording starts. Okay, well, that's basically it for today. So next time I'll try to tackle some of the more features that we have. The notification settings, the mapping, perhaps snapshotting. We could look at the timeline and the live view settings. There is an archive mode. So we will look into a couple of these other things next time. Okay, if there's any questions, just put them down in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I would like to thank you for today. See you next time. Cheers. Bye.